Yeah, that bike looks good. Cynthia was going to ride the Elite 110, but she decided to ride the Elite 1985 Elite 150 because it has the windscreen. Alright, you know, one issue I have with this bike, because of the hippo hands, I have to signal with my feet because I can't really reach the turn signals very easily. I think the only downside with the 150 as opposed to the 110, of course, is the fuel injection, but it does give you like 10 miles per hour more than the 110. And of course, that windscreen, it's got a lot better wind protection, and it looks cool. You know, it's a bike that is from 1985 and is still on the road, but there's little things here and there that don't work very well. One is the blinkers. The blinkers do not work on it at all. And let me see, the fuel gauge, yeah. The fuel gauge sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, but I think once we fill up, we should be good. Alright, let's fill up. These things don't cost a lot of money to fill up. So the question is, do I still like the SH150? And I do like the SH150, but there's some issues. When it comes to like living with this bike, if you buy the SH150, you have to remind yourself that they only made it for 1 year, and that's not a very good thing. That's what I'm finding. If you make it just for a year, then parts are they're so difficult to find. Remember, this bike got stolen or vandalized. I guess you could say vandalized because the thief didn't manage to start it. They vandalized it, so the plastic for this bike comes all the way from Europe, and you know, it's like $60, but it's $250 to fill it up, or $250 to ship it. It doesn't make a lot of sense when it comes to buying something. So you're kind of stuck with this bike that just doesn't seem, the fairing is so expensive. So each piece is like $250 to ship. That's ridiculous. So my next project is basically painting this entire bike. I'm going to try my best to get it all fixed up, because I hate the idea of having all of this plastic broken because that douchebag decided it was a great idea to break the plastic to try and get inside the bike and start it. Also, another downside I'm finding is that the streamlined European style is great, but not great if you want to mount a GPS. It's not great if you have like accessories you like to put on the bike. And even this windscreen doesn't work too well on it because it is from an Elite 110. So that's kind of like the downside. I do wish that this bike was a little bit easier to kind of use, in a sense that you have to keep it for a long time. If you keep something for a long time, you want the ability of getting cheap parts, and that's always been one of my things, getting parts for bikes. You know, the Elite 150 from 85, it's really easy to get parts for. Looking back at the Elite 150, and it looks pretty darn good. It doesn't look like an old 1985 bike. And by the way, that's carbureted, but it's liquid cooled, and it seems to ride extremely well. I was considering riding the Elite 150, but the reason I'm riding the SH is because I have my GPS mount on here. And this is, by the way, one of the reasons I don't like this particular bike, is that it's very difficult to mount the GPS onto a scooter. The only bikes that I've seen that are easy are the ones with the exposed handlebars. That way it's nice and firm, but this thing just keeps moving around. It's silly the way people make scooters. It's, in a way, it makes sense because people do not go on very long trips on scooters, so it does make sense. But I think handlebar scooters are much better. I do like also the ability of having multiple scooters, because if somebody's getting into motorcycling, I almost feel that riding a scooter is something that they kind of forego. They don't think of scooters as part of the experience of motorcycling. Now, there is something to be said about riding a scooter as opposed to a motorcycle, or riding a motorcycle as opposed to a scooter. On a scooter, you have the automatic transmission. They feel a little clinical, but if your primary idea of riding is transportation, I don't think you can beat them. But also, when I'm riding a scooter, I'm in a different state of mind. I'm not like trying to rail around corners, and I'm not trying to go fast because I want the experience, you know, like the dopamine fix of riding. I'm basically just enjoying the scenery. And think about it, motorcycling was mostly about that for the vast majority of time. It was like just cheap transportation. But nowadays, people have gone bonkers with bikes. I mean, bikes that cost $25,000. I mean, people like buy BMW GS's for $25,000 used, and then they get gear and bags that cost more than the scooter would cost. It's bonkers. You know, if the Super Tenere was not cheap in the used market, I would never be able to buy it. The only reason I bought the Super Tenere because it's a bargain. It's one of these open class ADV bikes that's a bargain to have with a shaft drive. That's the reason I bought it. If it was GS priced and GS maintenance, I would never ever buy it. If you're a hoodlum, you want a scooter because they don't attract the attention of cops. And to me, that's such a good thing, because if you went to the Mo Gas School of Riding, then you're constantly getting in trouble. Yeah, you know, to all the people that see me riding the Super Tenere and then they see me riding a scooter, the thing is, I'm having just as much fun riding a scooter as I am riding a Super Tenere or Hayabusa. It's a different style of fun, and I enjoy it equally. But I think a lot of riders don't get scooters because they feel like there's some sort of like masculinity attached to riding a motorcycle. And I don't feel that way. Like, you know, quite frankly, I don't have anything to compensate for. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. This is a nice farm. They sell trees. Everybody's always selling Christmas trees. I have an artificial tree. Don't need anything else. I'm not going to worship pagan gods. I can't believe there's so much farmland here. It's like pretty soon there's going to be luxury townhouses and houses here. Oh, you know these trucks here? They're hunters. I think they're here to hunt. Look at that. Hunting in the woods. Yeah, it's hunting time. Yeah, there's a lot. There was a father that went hunting with his 11-year-old daughter, and he killed her. The thing is, when you ride with me, I can easily turn a 100-mile ride into like a 300-mile ride. That's always been the case. It's like I'm always like looking at roads. It's like, might as well go over here. It's only an inch away from the map. How does the 150 handle? This thing is pretty good handling because it feels like a motorcycle. So when riders come to the SH150 from a motorcycle, it feels almost intuitive. When you have 16 inchers like this, it goes around a corner just very much like a motorcycle does. So it's not like you have to relearn how to ride. But when I was riding the 110 and the Buddy 125, it felt so different that I think it counted against me because I just could not get a handle of those 10-inch wheels riding through corners. The beauty of the scooter, even though there's a guy going really slow in front of me, I can still ride this thing and have a lot of fun riding it. Normally I'd be so pissed off at this guy for ruining my road. You know, get off of my road, that's what I would be thinking. But on a scooter, it's like, oh yeah, look at that, I can still go around a corner pretty hard and have tons of fun on it. I've always liked bridges. I don't know why. I really feel attracted to bridges and I guess what they represent. Can you imagine not having bridges? You weren't able to get over water. It's crazy when you think about it. Look how cool this bridge is. Tons of character. Railroad tracks. Had to go and show them this covered bridge here before we get to Thurmont. I'll just kind of snake around a little bit, but this is pretty. I always like the creeks and the twisty roads and then the covered bridges. Such an East Coast thing. I don't think people watching on the West Coast have this. It's kind of cool. Loy Station covered bridge. Man. Nice. Welcome to Thurmont. Thurmont is called Gateway to the Mountains. So you're very close to Gettysburg and you're also very close to Frederick, Maryland. So, but this is the main town of Thurmont. Quite a few businesses here. Of course, there's not a big industry, so what happens is that people either go north to Gettysburg or south to Frederick and Gaithersburg. I think maybe we should go south here and fill up before we go north.
Hi, I was green light, but my gas is very low. Is that
okay?
Is that okay? I don't know.
Yeah, we should. Let's go fill up. I think over here. Look at all the hikers over there doing their boring ass hiking. Hiking is for people who don't like to do stuff. People that should be hiking are photographers hauling camera gear up a mountain. Everybody else should be running. Alright, if you look to the left, this is Fort Richie. Squirrely found this place. It's very fascinating. There's like so much land in here. All of this is abandoned. There's not one thing that's available, but this, people come here and fish. So these were the housing for the army, and I think they're developing and fixing various things here. This is apparently like a general's house. Ah, crap. Yeah. Oh, they put this up. Crap. It's like the apocalypse. I mean, you can film a apocalypse movie here. Oh, look at all this glass. I don't want to get a flat tire. That is kind of funny. You know, one of the Fort Richie guys died recently, one of the ones that worked at the space. So this is what they're fixing up. They are remodeling all of these houses here and fixing them up. Oh, tenants. You see, like, they're actually cleaning everything up. This looks really cool. The houses are tiny though. So now we're just like climbing up in elevation. By the way, this is the longest ride the Elite 150 has ever been on. That's a 1985 Honda Elite. I mean, I had no idea how capable it was, but it seems pretty capable. I think Cynthia said that it's a very comfortable bike to ride. I don't think she had a lot of complaints other than the rattly sound that it makes, and in the beginning I think she had issues starting it because it's carbureted, and normally you give it a little bit of gas and you twist the throttle. We have made it. Not a lot of people here. I was actually expecting a little bit more. Alright. Yeah, that's good. was a good touch. Photo op. We're in Pennsylvania. This is proof we made it to Pennsylvania. At the base of HIghrock, you can see all of this from the top. Look at this fancy lad on his motorcycle. Hey, bud. Now I have to put my head back in the thing here. This is at the valley of HIghrock. It's so flat here, but I do like how it looks. I wish I had money to buy a house here. Actually, it would be perfect. No COVID. I wonder if these people are worried about COVID around here. Probably not. It's really cute here. Look at these really large houses. I think we're going to stop up ahead, maybe at McDonald's, to get something warm, probably some hot chocolate, and head on out. Like, this is a really cool town. You know, I have a friend of mine who is a model, and he lives here. And at the time when I knew him, I was like, what, you're commuting to DC from here? That's crazy. But now with this whole COVID thing, it makes a whole lot more sense to live out here. Yeah, let's stop at Mickey D's. I'm sure there's something here that these guys can eat. They're kind of fancy people. Fancy people, but I don't know. I think I just need coffee or something. Look at this. I think this is pretty funny. That's heated grips right there. That is awesome. That's like the poor man's version of the heated grip. We just finished some much needed coffee at McDonald's. You definitely warm up when you drink something warm. That's a pro tip right there. Drink something warm when you're cold to heat up your body, and you'll feel much better. You know, at least for a few minutes you'll feel good. But you know, it is freezing. And when you are riding, once your body hits a certain temperature, you're not going to get much warmer. So when it's cold like this, unless you have some major hacks like electric gear, you're gonna get cold no matter what. Hey, this is Burkittsville. Gatlin State Park. That's also where the Appalachian Trail goes through, I believe. But you see how cute this is? Look, they still have little cute cobblestone. Right? Look at this. Cobblestone. Who does that? And Spook Hill is over there. That's one of those hills that looks like it's going up, but it's really going down, and then guys put their bikes in neutral and go like, ooh, that's crazy. Farmer. Hey, buddy. Well, I'm just riding into sunset, guys. That's pretty much the ride for today. We did close to 200 miles on scooters and one Vstar 250. You know, the Honda Elite 150 did great. That thing is from 1985. It's so crazy. The SH, of course, it's never a doubt that it will do the ride. And the Elite 110, that's another really great bike. Oh, I've never been on that road. I gotta go on that road. See, this is the problem. When I'm like riding, I get distracted by roads I've never been on. But I have to keep telling myself, it is gonna get cold. We gotta get home before night, because this area, once that ball of gas over there goes down, that's it. It gets cold. I'm like a reverse vampire. I want to get home before dark. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because every time you hit subscribe, a squid gets his horns. Alright, thanks. Bye. Kind of stuck here. The cops won't bother me.